G'day, my name's Elliot, also known as Hascam or Hascam Music, and today I thought I'd do a product spotlight of a new plugin I recently acquired called Soar. It's made by a company called JST, and it seems to be a really nice tape delay plugin, and I just thought I'd walk you through it. Let's get straight into it. So to start, I thought that I would show you a track that I've made before a time of recording, just to showcase what Soar can do. So this is a hip hop style, Arabian style, trap style beat, and just thought I'd give you guys a listen so you can see what you can do with this plugin. So that's pretty much it, and most of these tracks here are using some form of Soar preset or setting. So first of all, I thought I'd just show you the basics of Soar and the way it works before I get into how I created that track. So this is Soar, this is the UI, and you can see that it's very obviously a tape delay when you open it up. And looks quite nice, but JST have this really nice little feature where if you click on their logo, it opens up this help menu, and so you can have a look at what all the different features do if you put your mouse over them. So that's really useful. And what I'll get into first is this thing here. This is called the repeats knob, and what the repeats knob does is it kind of is like your normal feedback knob of a normal delay, but it's kind of like an accumulation of intensity over time. So if we put it all the way up, this is what it will sound like. Yeah, you can hear that it takes a while to filter out. If we put it all the way down, it's just those kind of first initial delays. And if we put it up to about halfway, kind of a normal delay sound. Then we've got the age. Now the age controls your high frequency information, transients, and overall decay. So kind of like if you took the sound quality and put it on a knob. So with all the knob all the way up, you'll hear that we lose a lot of high frequency information, and that the transients will be crushed, and that the delay will have a shorter decay. So if we put that all the way up as it is, then it will sound like this. As you heard before, I'll turn the repeats up a little bit. Then if we pull the age all the way down, we get a very long delay with a lot of high frequency information and a lot of transients. But if we put it all the way back up again, you'll hear that you lose quite a lot of that information. And this can be used to really kind of blend the sound. So I can go like this, and it kind of just merges all of the notes together in this really nice smoosh, I guess you could say. If we put it all the way back down and do the same chord, it's not quite the same effect. Yeah, I find this just sounds like a lot more pleasing in some ways. It's very pretty. And so then we've got the health knob. Now what this knob does is it controls the non-linearities of the delay, which is a cool way of saying the changes in pitch. So you can see that it's very healthy, the machine at the moment. So we're not going to get any pitch wobbles or anything. Pull it all the way down though, it's quite a serious vibrato effect going on there. So if we put it all the way back up, you'll hear no vibrato, and then half. But you can really get deep and experimental with this knob, and all of these work together really well. So, you know, we could pull the age to like this or something, and then pull our health down, and it should sound something like this. Pretty cool. And then we've got the flutter. The flutter kind of works in conjunction with the rest of these knobs. And if you've ever used a tape delay before, you will know what the flutter does. But you can really get deep and experiment with a lot of these things. So, you know, I could push the repeats all the way up, give it a huge edge, and we could pull the health down and the flutter all the way up. Pretty crazy. And then we've got this contour knob here, and what the contour knob does is it just removes any of that unwanted low end. No low end. Low end. So that knob can come in handy for getting rid of that disgusting low end. My apologies if there's any construction noise in this video, by the way. So we're getting to the next section, but before we go to all of this stuff, there is one more thing to do with the tape section. This is the speed. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but what JST says about the speed is the switch allows you to control the IPS, or inches per second, of the tape machine. This control has an effect on the non-linearities introduced by the tape, age, health, and flutter. So if we put this up to a 30 and we take the health down as it already is, you'll hear so that kind of pitch wobble is faster. And if we pull it down, you'll hear that in some ways it's actually even less extreme. So anyway, I'll keep it on 15 for now. And before I get to this part here or any of this stuff, I'm just going to explain what this does here. So this is the BPM and MS knob switch section, and this is your tempo of the delay. So if you want a really fast delay, you can put this knob all the way up. Boom, fast delay. Then if you want a slow delay, you know, pretty self-explanatory. And then we have the BPM and MS switch here. So if you want the controls to be in MS, you can do that right there. But if you're lazy and you don't want to bother with any of that, you can just connect this delay to your host's clock by pressing host sync. So now it should be at 120. Yeah, that looks like 120. Oh, I forgot you can even just tap in the metronome here. So that's a really fast delay there, as you can see. And then I'll just connect it to my host. That reminds me as well, really cool thing that I've found when using this plugin is if you automate this knob, then you can come up with some really cool pitch slides and changes. So if I go, a lot of fun. So here we have the heads of the plugin, and this is like, I guess you could say, this is just the fundamental effect generator thing. So if we have a look at what JST says about it, they say, because tape machines use multiple heads and a loop of tape, the actual delay offsets are static. So basically this can control how often the initial delays are. So we can have it all the way here, 1/2. That's pretty fast. We can have it here, it'll be a bit slower. If we have it here, that's 2/3, and you know, you'll get it. Then if you go to single, then it's just a single mono delay. And that's another thing about this plugin. It turns the original source audio into mono. So you'll hear that this piano originally, if I turn Soar off, is quite wide. And then if I turn Soar on, and then I turn this feedback off, turn the repeats down, you'll hear that it does change the original audio to mono. Don't worry though, because if you have the effect on, then the delays will be completely in stereo. So that's very nice. So it really makes up for turning the original sound to mono. But this single one, this is, if you have your delay on this setting, then the delay itself will also be in mono. So just something to keep in mind. Then multi is similar to your ping pong delay. And you can just really mess around with it. It's really fun. Also, if you want the entire effect, so the delays and everything to be in mono, flip the switch. And no matter what setting you have this on, it will be in mono. I'm going to keep it on stereo for now. Then this is the feedback. So if we have this on, then you'll hear get a lot of feedback. But if we turn it off, it stops after those initial repeats or heads. But if we put this on, those initial repeats or heads will keep affecting the sound after the time that they have been played. And so if you want that really nice kind of smushed together noise from your input source like this, then you should have the feedback on. And then finally we have our delay tempo. So this is in BPM, and that's just to show you what BPM your delay is. So you can see 120 because I have it to host sync, which is what Ableton is also at. And then finally we have the wet dry mix knob, and that's pretty self-explanatory. If we have it completely dry, it's just that initial delay. Mind you, having it all dry doesn't convert the original sound back to stereo. Have it to wet, it's just the delay, so I'll keep it at the middle point. So that is Soar, and now I'll show you how I did all of these tracks. So this first one here, this is a pizzicato string. It's a default Ableton sound, and this is what it sounds like. This is pretty cool. And you can see right here in Soar, this is the settings that I have. And so it's just a kind of nice lo-fi sounding ping pong delay. And then we've just got a little bit of reverb, EQing and compression on there. So then next, hopping over here, we have the next one, next instrument, which I believe is a double bass legato, and also just from Ableton's default instruments. And that sounds like this. Yep, and I didn't feel that this beat needed an 808, so this was good enough. And then what have we got here? We've got the drums, and this is just a drum kit I put together for this beat, and it sounds like this. Yep. And then you can have a look at the settings here. This is actually only on, I think, 2 of the drum sounds in this drum kit. This first one is the hi-hat, I believe. Yep, and it's a pretty short delay. It's just kind of to give it a nice little weird sound, as if it's slightly offbeat when it's playing, and that sounds like this. Yeah, those triplets really help the delay offset get really nice. And then what have we got here? We also have a saw on the snare, I believe, or the clap. Yeah, just on the clap. That sounds like this. And if we have a look at that, you can see that these are the settings that we have. What I was going for here is a kind of preset to really double the sound of that clap, and I think it worked out pretty well. And then we have this sound, and this is a Glockenspiel, and it sounds like this. And that's literally just there to emphasize parts of the melody in this violin pizzicato, and it sounds like this. Yeah, so let's have a look at the Soar plugin on this one as well, and that sounds like this. So it's going for a short delay, just to give it some oomph on that sound. And then it's got a little bit of reverb and EQing, and then finally we just have this sound here, which doesn't have Soar on it at all. It's just a transition sound with a lot of reverb. And that is my beat and my product spotlight and review of the JST Soar. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more future videos, and see you then.